Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Braddock Media's Toy and Collectible Reviews. On this week's episode, it's something totally different. Last week was a NECA statue. This week is the first replica weapon that we've had on the show. There will be more to come, which is really exciting towards the summer. This I ordered for future cosplay. This is the Star Trek Into Darkness phaser that came with the Blu-ray release. I ordered it off eBay. On this week's episode, I'm going to go over box art, tell you kind of like my feelings and thoughts and ideas on the new Star Trek franchise. We're going to go over the different pieces that this came with, and I'll tell you more about my cosplay that's coming up in the spring. So stay tuned and let's check out this box art.
Oh.
After the NECA box art with Skeletor, this box art is pretty plain, and that's to be expected. It is something that came with a Blu-ray release. It wasn't something that was intentionally made to be a permanent replica weapon. The box art is this is it. This is everything that you see here. It's got Captain Kirk, played by Chris Pine. He's holding up the phaser, and then this tiny, tiny little shot of what you're getting. The rest of it, the back is completely blank. The side just has Star Trek Into Darkness. And obviously, again, it's not sold as a collectible, but in a way it is because I haven't been able to find this weapon anywhere else. And I kind of hope somebody does, and you'll find out why in Breakdown. So that's it for box art. It's really basic. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about my thoughts on the Star Trek franchise and go from there, especially leading into these current movies. We'll start at the first ones, Wrath of Khan, all the original cast. Those were really great. Those were my 80s movies. They have a lot of heartfelt memories. I think they really took... What was nice, it was a really great transition from the original series into modern day movies, and they created the seriousness, they created the effects. Everything was just really, really well done on that one. That was something that I think a lot of TV to film has a really hard time doing without losing that effect. And I mean, we've seen certain ones be super successful, especially with going into like Firefly and Serenity, and keeping that character dynamic, keeping the plot line, keeping the storyline, and just really making it flow and function together. I, of course, am a massive Next Gen fan. That was, the first original ones were when I was a little kid in the 80s, and then Next Gen was in the 90s, and I loved it. I loved Deanna Troi, Data, like everyone in that cast was great. I mean, shut up, Wesley. But it's so good. It's such a funny show. Funny show, but serious, and they had some really beautiful things, and especially when it comes to gender awareness, which is really something fantastic that they, have tied into a couple episodes there. And if you are on that spectrum, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So anyways, Generation, First Contact, anything Borg. I love everything Borg. The Borg Queen is so sexy and so hot, and I would love to cosplay her someday. Would be incredible. She was just amazing. What a great character. And the way that Data and everything went in there. Those movies were also really well done. They just, again, it's bumping up that notch, because you want to go to the movies to see a movie. You don't just want to go to see a TV show. So creating that level is a little bit more difficult, but they've really done a successful job on building that. Now, when it comes to this new series with J.J. Abrams running the helm for the first two, it was amazing. It felt like Star Trek. It felt like everything that I wanted from and hoped for. I know a lot of fans were really like PO'd at the storyline, but I think it's perfect. I mean, they created a time paradox, and that allowed them to change everything. And that's what we're wanting to do with our shows, is just, you wanted to go into it seeing something different. I didn't want them to remake the original cast. I didn't want them to remake them exactly the way they were, because what's the point? They've already done that, and they were successful. And as fans of Star Trek, we already had that. So, I mean, maybe giving it to the new generation of people, but that's not the point of this. So I really appreciate what they did. I like the fact that it was a whole new everything. They could go anywhere with it. They could change anyone. It's good. I not just good, it's fantastic. I think they did a great job on that style of it. But yes, the first one was my favorite, the Star Trek. It was just incredibly done, powerful. The storylines, the character building, the dynamic was just between Spock and Kirk and then bringing Leonard Nimoy in they just really made it really great. And Eric Bana, I think, is the villain in that one. Really good. I mean, you have this dark, person, but you're also kind of feeling, really bad because he's lost his family. And we all know that, if we're close with our families and the ones that we love, if anything happens to them, who knows what we're capable of doing. So it's something that when a villain has that kind of backstory, you can really kind of dive into feeling for them. So, anyways, yeah, it's a little bit on the first one. David Cumberbatch, not my favorite as Khan. The second movie, Into Darkness, which this phaser is based off of, really was not my favorite. I think they just could have casted somebody better. I think they casted him not only because he's a great actor, don't get me wrong, it's more the fact that he was just so popular with Sherlock at that time and Desolation of Smog, and like he was just, his career was really skyrocketing. So obviously that's a really great move on their part to stick somebody in there that's already got that fan base because they're just going to love it. But unfortunately it did backfire because a lot of people were really pissed off about, kind of whitewashing in Hollywood. It always kind of comes out on that one. As much as he's a fantastic actor, it would have been better for them to have casted somebody a little bit more appropriate for that part. So yes, it's that was just my two thoughts on that. And I do like him as an actor. I do love him in Sherlock. Doctor Strange, fantastic. You could not have gotten a better Doctor Strange than him. He's just nailed that part so well. But his whole character of Khan, if you actually watch him live, doing the live Frankenstein play, where he actually plays opposites in it. One he plays Frankenstein, the other he plays Frankenstein's monster, and it's a swap over. It actually, in a way, his character seems so similar from that to Khan. Just really that angry. And I guess it just seemed like I just wanted something a little bit different. And he didn't remind me of Khan from the original movie. So as somebody who's seen that original movies, as much as I know I'm expecting something totally different, that is a pretty main character and a pretty intense storyline that they kind of botched a little bit for me. So that was the only thing I didn't like about that. But it still had the same feel as the first one. It still had that darkness. It still had that Into Darkness, but it had that feel of Star Trek that I wanted. Star Trek Beyond, the latest one, has a piece of my heart because it's filmed in BC. Obviously, the forest scenes, it's just you can tell. And I had a lot of friends that were extras and actors on that, which is also why I enjoyed it. But it really was, it felt like Simon Pegg more than it felt like J.J. Abrams. It really didn't feel the same. It reminds me of movies that Simon Pegg has done, like Shaun of the Dead, where it's, funny banter, little bit of plot building, action, 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 funny banter, a little bit of plot building, action, action, action. And that's okay. And I really enjoy that in movies like Shaun of the Dead, but not what I'm looking for in Star Trek. It was just a little bit too one-liner. And I know that sounds weird because I like the very original Star Trek TV show, but I mean, besides Captain Kirk, there wasn't a lot of people that had funny one-liners in a way, like everyone else. I mean, well, Bones, but there was something that just felt a little bit different to me that didn't really come across with it. I think the villain, as much as the actor who plays him, Eric Alba, is incredible. Like, I love that man. Not only is he freaking so sexy, he is so great as an actor. I just really think that I don't know. It didn't work for me. I didn't like the storyline. It just really fell short for me and didn't feel like the first one. So because of that weird feel, it kind of ended up in the fail pile for me. And I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about going to another one in theater because of that. And I'm not the only person that agrees with this. Lots of fans of the Star Trek franchise that I know felt the same way. It just didn't get that giant cheer and thumbs up that those first two did. And for a lot of people. So anyways, that's my kind of take on the Star Trek franchise. So now let's go into the breakdown of the only two pieces that are on here, but this is a love-hate one. We've had a couple of those on the show, and I will tell you why here on Breakdown. I am used to so many different pieces when it comes to my reviews. Cape, hand, weapons, but this is its own weapon, so let's start there. I ordered this specifically for an upcoming cosplay that I'm going to be doing in April. Because Beyond was filmed here in British Columbia, I want to do an outdoor photo shoot, especially, and for future conventions and other things I go to. So I ordered the blue medical outfit to go with this. It's going to be super exciting. Possibly some Vulcan going on to match that. So that's in a little bit of a spoiler there. But I'm too excited to really keep this in, and it kind of goes and works with the review here. So this is why I'm being super picky about it and why some of these things probably wouldn't bother some people, but I'm going to point out, what is throwing me on this one because I may actually send it back because of some of these. Right off the bat, inside the barrel of the gun here, it's got a giant glob of polystone or whatever this material that it's made out of. And I can't fix this. Like, I could try chiseling it out, I could try sanding it down, but there's way too much chance that I'm going to bust or break around the barrel tip here, and that's going to just completely ruin it, which would be unfortunate. I've worked with some of this type of stuff before, so I know what I could get away with and what I couldn't, and this one is not worth breaking out of there, at least not at my skill set. And then again, I would have to paint it and match the paint, and that becomes a little bit of a tricky part. So that one is going to be for photos. I would have to try to Photoshop that out. Again, more work than I'm willing to put in. Price tag on this guy is about $200. Sometimes you can get them for $140, which is maybe why I've got this one that's got some damage on it, because mine was that. But most of them are $200 plus. You can't find, or at least I haven't found, if you found replica weapons from this new Star Trek series anywhere else online, make sure to put that in the comments because that would be super helpful. But this is the only one that I could find, and I really wanted it for my costume. The other one, as you can see on this part here, beautifully put together. You can barely see where it's glued in and where it's painted. But then we get over to the other side and it's not filled. You can completely see where they've glued the two pieces together and it's not filled. And I would have to fill that and then paint it. And if I have to paint that, pretty much gonna have to repaint the entire thing, which is out of my skill set. So I'm gonna have to pay someone to do that. And that's not really gonna work for me either. The other one was this little chip that's already in it. I think that was from when they were just trying to put this in to see if it's going to go on the stand, because there is another scratch, which you can see in this picture, that's actually caused by the stand. And the reasoning for that is where the stand slots in and holds this is really scratchy and abrasive. It's just like they broke the mold lines out and they didn't sand it or clean it up or anything. So it will continue to damage this if you're not super careful putting it in. And even then, again, it's super, so I'd have to heat that or sand it or clean it up myself. Again, more work. The other part on it, was there another part? That's really about it. Those are the damages when it comes to it and the issues and problems. And that's a lot, actually, for something that you're buying. The other kind of fail and thumbs down for me is there's no sound effects to it at all. There's no light up, there's no nothing. Those, of course, are really great when you're, to add to the feel of it, especially when you're in convention. It's really nice to have that bit of action, especially if you're going to be submitting your costume to possibly be judged. You want to have it as authentic and cool looking as you possibly can get it. So here's the front of the front of it, and then I'm going to show you the back. They're both the same, but the paint on every other level is very beautiful. The main selling point for this, which is going to sound a little bit weird, is the weight of it. When you pick this up, it feels like an actual weapon. And I know this because I do go to firing ranges and I do shoot handguns, and they have an incredible weight to them that a lot of people don't realize. And this is pretty close. Like, obviously, if it was an actual real weapon, it would be a little bit heavier. But all in all, it has that drop. It has that feel. You have to actually have a little bit of resistance to hold it and strength, which really, for me, adds to the character. It adds, for me, I don't know, it just really kind of, I like it. It increases the authenticity of it. And I mean, it's supposed to be a future metal, so it would be a little bit lighter. But most weapons are plastic. Pore lines, mold lines, you can see all those. You're not getting that on this one. Like, if I was carrying this around a convention, besides this glove that is just staring at me like a giant sore, no one would know. I mean, people would be super impressed to see this. Yeah, okay, it doesn't light up, but it's pretty fantastic. The base, as I said, is like a plastic. It's only abrasive in that part. The rest of it's nicely smooth. It's cleaned up. The nameplate, which you can see in this shot, it keeps falling out. It's fallen out twice since I've taken it out to take pictures of it to send to the person I bought it on eBay. You would have to glue that down and actually glue it yourself. And then there's the risk of it, frosting the plexiglass plastic that it's made out of. So that's kind of hit or miss on that one, but it would work. I mean, as long as you put it down, you don't take it out, it's fine. But again, you're paying for something, you want to have that cleanness of it, and you don't want to have to put in a bunch of money to fix it. So yes, my love and dislike on this one are so hard because I need this for my costume, but I don't want to put in all this work and effort to sell it, or to fix it. So that's it for that one. Stay tuned. We are going to do a 360 video of the phaser. You're going to get to see all the different angles of it. It is beautiful. I'm hoping that the seller has one that doesn't have this issue. I'd even be fine with dealing with the little bits in here, but this front of the gun needs to be fixed, and hopefully they're not all like that, because that would be really unfortunate. And I just can't see that. I'm hoping this is a one-off. But again, you know where I can get a better version of this? Below. I would love to hear it. So let's check out the 360 video. YouTube, if you enjoyed this week's episode of Braddock Media's Toy and Collectible Reviews, don't miss out on any more. Make sure to click that subscribe button below, leave a comment in the comment section, and give a thumbs up. I love hearing from you guys. It's been really inspiring. Keep it up, and I will see you all next week.